His name was Gospel John. He had a dual belief system. He believed in the traditional ways of the tribe, but he also was a Christian and a minister. He held sermons out of his house, but people didn't actually come to his house to listen to him. He would broadcast himself on the local public access television station every Wednesday night. That show is still running strong to this day. I was in a pizza parlor one time, and we were sitting right behind him. We overheard a conversation he had with a person sitting across from him. He talked about how he was at a convention that was associated with his church. And he's traveled around, speaking at different events, talking about pretty much the same thing. It has a religious tone to it. There was one time he was in London, for some reason. He said he was tackling the important issues. That's what they call us in America. What do they call you people? You know, if I had one of these things, I'd eat chutney every day. Are you going to buy some food, sir? No. In Thief River Falls, Minnesota, he, along with other members of his church, were going to speak at a conference there. It was regarding tribal members and substance abuse. They were there for a 3-day weekend. He visited the casino and walked around the town. While he was at the casino, he met a tribal woman that was next to him at one of the slot machines. She talked about the area and of the tribe. Gospel John was Potawatomi, and these were Chippewas. They were part of the same nation, but different tribes. One topic they got on was of traditional beliefs. Be aware of the Wendigo, she said. There has been many sightings over the years. It's usually seen during the winter seasons, or close to it. There was one report of somebody being murdered in the woods, with their forearm and part of their neck chewed off. Everyone thought it was a bear, but word got around that there was an outsider that came to live here for a while, that became homeless, and started wandering around the town and the woods. He wasn't somebody that hunted, and there was no reports of him stealing any food or money from anyone. The rumor was that he was the one that ate this guy out of hunger. Gospel John goes to the area where he's told the incident had happened. It's popular amongst the superstitious that think they're going to see something. You get the occasional eyewitness of a Wendigo, or even a Sasquatch. He walks around the woods and sits down at the top of a hill, cross-legged or Indian style. He surveys the land below. He's a little tired, and he drifts in and out of being awake. When he comes to, and he knows he's not sleeping, he sees something in the tree line down below. He can hear footsteps of something walking. It looked like a person walking on 2 legs, hunched over, as if it was trying to find something on the ground. It walks into the clearing between the trees. It looks tall and thin. Based on the surrounding trees, he estimates it to be about 6'3", and it looks like this person hasn't eaten in years. It's wearing all gray or dark clothes. It continues to walk into a patch of high grass and tall trees. Gospel John decides to follow it. He walks down the hill and takes out a small flashlight from his keychain. He goes into the area where he thinks he saw the thing enter into. After about 30 yards, he enters into a clearing. He sees footsteps on the ground, but they look like hooves. So he thinks that this is an equestrian trail, and that is how those goat or horse-like footsteps got there on the ground. He follows the steps. He hears noises as he's walking. He gets up from the ground and runs in the direction that he came. He wasn't trying to run towards the thing. He was just backtracking to the only familiar area. He runs up the hill and stops when he notices someone at the top. He doesn't know who it is at first, until this thing screams at him. It charges, and he runs down the hill, the fastest he's run in 12 years. He said he was lucky he was wearing his Air Jordans that day. He runs through the forest, not exactly knowing where he's going. After about 10 minutes, he comes to a road and follows it to his hotel room. He cuts the story off shortly, before he can finish. I've never known Gospel John to lie before. Maybe he embellishes some things, but he always speaks the truth. I believe he saw something out there, but it might have some type of relation with that drug conference he was at. There were quite a few meth hideouts around that area, and maybe it was one of these meth addicts. I have seen some that fit the description of a Wendigo. But whatever it was, I believe he saw something.